Back on Houston Legends, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, very happy to be recognizing the work of Dr. Cesar Maldonado, who is the Chancellor of Houston Community College. We'd like to talk now with Dr. Maldonado a little bit about how he became Chancellor and some of his childhood experiences that led him to this great career path. So as people listen to your story and can see your bio online, etc., I think for them it would be very interesting to know a little bit more about your parents, what they did, and how you went from an engineer to running Houston Community College. So let's start with your parents.
My parents play a very important role in my life. My dad's still alive. He's 93 years old. I lost my mom a few years ago. My dad's an engineer by training. But he's more of a serial entrepreneur. He built businesses, and so I observed by watching him, when opportunities didn't come his way, he created his own opportunities. 1950s were a different time in America for Hispanics, and he was able to reap success by bringing barriers down himself in a way, using his education and using his work ethic to get there. My mom was a homemaker who focused her entire life on her three sons, and all three sons became engineers by training. And college was not optional for me and my brothers. It was something that was expected. My parents didn't point us to a specific major, but helped us understand that the way to succeed in America was to get an education.
And so as you look back, did you at any point as a young child think that you wanted to go in education, or was it always engineering?
Well, Dr. Murillo, one of the funny things about life is we live it forward, but we don't really understand it until we stop and look back. And I was always in a hurry as a young man. I was bored in high school. I figured out how to get out of high school early, and I started college at Texas A&M at the age of 16. There was no online, there was no dual credit, there was no early college high school. There was this thing called correspondence courses, and I took a correspondence course. Took several of them in order to get the credits to graduate from high school early, because the driving factor for me was I wasn't having fun, I wasn't learning anything that I thought was up to the level of what I wanted to do. So I started at the university, and I did what most students did back then. I went to school full time while I worked, and I was able to get out, graduate with my bachelor's degree at the age of 20. I slid right into graduate school in chemical engineering, teaching math and engineering. So that was my first exposure to education. When I left that chapter of my life, I reflected that someday I might want to come back and do this. But I put it on the shelf. I didn't think about it. My older brother, who passed away in 2004, went to undergrad school with me. He was 2 years ahead of me. We went to graduate school together, so we were very close. And he had a stroke in 2002. And we had talked on and off about going back to university and being a professor. The motivation really got sparked in me is when my brother had his stroke, because we talked about that a lot. And when he passed away in 2004 is when I started my doctoral program. And that led to sharpen my focus on moving from the private sector to higher ed. I'd run for the school board. I'd served 10 years on the school board. I'd started a nonprofit to help students move from high school to community college. I'd done a lot of stuff in the periphery, but I'd never really jumped into the frying pan, so to speak, until I was motivated by the loss of my brother. So that was the driving factor for me. And it's important to mention that I've also been married for 44 years to an educator. So that was a driving force as well. Finished my doctorate in 2008 in systems engineering. My thoughts were to go into teaching engineering, but I had an opportunity to move into administration. And I took that, I went through an interview process. I was a finalist of 3, just like any other candidate that went through the process. And I was selected to be the president in 2008 of Texas State Technical College in Harlingen. A few years later, I became vice chancellor. And a few years later, an opportunity came to apply for a job in Houston. I did, and I was selected as a sole finalist on April 21st of 2014.
Well, and certainly many changes, and also working with the school board that is one that encompasses, so many parts of our greater Houston area. What would you have to say to individuals that are considering or should consider running for office for HISD, for Houston Community College? Like, what are some of the traits that they should have to do their job well?
Well, one of the big factors in helping me be successful was a life of service. Even though I had my own companies that I was building, I served the public through appointments to boards. I was the head of a utility board. I served on an airport authority. I served on a chamber of commerce. Then I ran for election as a school trustee. All after I did a lot of community service. I served at the state level, appointments, gubernatorial appointments to a few positions. So I would suggest that a focus on public service is a strong foundation to run for elected office. And we can always use leadership in any part of the community. Houston Community College is blessed with a strong board, very focused on student success. We want to help that perpetuate by having a broader part of the community be involved. So public service is a great place to start, and then you'll find your way when you get in there.
Yes. Well, you have certainly found your way, and we're happy that that is included Houston, Texas. So thank you for all that you have done. Congratulations on your success, and we wish to continue to have a great partnership with Houston Community College. So thanks again, and congratulations.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us here on Houston Legends. On behalf of our Board of Directors, we appreciate you watching. Stay tuned for more. I'm Dr. Laura Murillo. Have a great day.